Hello, live once again. Slightly disorganized today. Anyway, as usual, if you're just tuning in and this is not a live video anymore, look in the description where I will put a link to the quiz questions, or to when the quiz question starts, a timestamp. That's the one I'm talking about. Okay, but anyway, as usual, I'll get started about 35 past. And in the meantime, let me spam Facebook and various other things with the link to this thing. Oh yeah, Pierrot's first. Slightly disorganized, but anyway, here we are. Let me get the link. Where's the link gone? Here it is. Stop touching your face. COVID. Okay. Let me spam the link around a few places. And then we can get started. Hopefully Dropbox is syncing my questions up to this laptop, so I actually have some questions to read out tonight. That would be good. Let's post that. I should post on the event as well. Okay, cool. Where else do I normally spam it? Over here. So we're starting at about 35 past, as usual, I would say. That's Sydney time. You convert to whatever time zone you're in. And that's pretty much it. Slowly loading all my things. Good. Computer's making noises. Okay. Done. Why is my Windows side arrow keys not working? Too many monitors. Okay. That's what I need. That's what's normally on that screen. Is the questions. Hello, Narelle. Hello, Piart and Narelle and the other 6 people who are tuned in. What was I going to do? Questions. That's right. I'm going to need those. Hello, Matt. Might make you a moderator as well in case it all kicks off tonight with the spammers, the trolls, whatever you want to call them. Why is Dropbox being weird? Give me my file. That's my file. Okay, cool. Okay, done. Why is that over there? Okay, cool. 7:30, and I got everything open and ready to go. We'll get started in about 5 minutes, I would say. Hello, Caroline. I think it was Caroline, not Carolyn. Hello, Davey. Hey, Simone. Noise opening my drink of choice tonight. Perfect. My questionable culinary choice this evening, eaten in the car on the way home from work in a bit of a rush, as I usually am on a Tuesday to get home, was the Domino's Pizza 50 chicken bites mega box for $10. And I can say, if you find yourself gripped with a desire to try that, yeah, maybe give it a miss. For a start, it's not a mega box. It's it's a box about the size of a small pizza box, maybe even smaller. So the box is in no way mega. And I've had the 24 nuggets for $10 from Macca's or KFC before, and not exactly my finest culinary moment, I have to say. But these are even worse. They're about a third the size. There's 50 of them, but they're about a third the size of a nugget. Much the same spirit as the nugget, I would say, but because they're so small, the whole ratio of surface area to volume is way off, and they just go cold really quickly. So if you like cold, small, rubbery marbles of alleged chicken, give them a go. Otherwise, maybe not. Pierrot says, have I had a bucket of chicken? Have I ever eaten chicken out of a bucket? I must have at some stage, I would think. It wasn't particularly memorable. I remember when KFC used to come in a bucket. You used to get it in a bucket. But I've never been a big KFC eater. And when I was a kid, we didn't have it anyway. So, because, fun fact, I grew up in a country that was so small that they didn't have any fast food restaurants, because the whole country is 21 square miles. So none of the big chains could even afford the land. So there was no Macca's, no KFC, nothing. Stephen is drooling at the mention of chicken. Well, I do like chicken. But I'd say of the many forms in which I've had chicken, the Domino's 50 bites mega box is going to be pretty low on the list. What country? Well, trivia question. The capital city of that country is Hamilton. Does that help you figure out which country it was? It was Bermuda, 700 miles off the coast of North Carolina. Me not. I'm a non-meat eater. I'm not a non-meat eater, but I'm increasingly trying to actively shift myself away from an almost entirely meat and carb-based diet towards one where I actually eat vegetables and am slightly nice to my body. Hey, 7:34. It's very nearly time to start the quiz. So I'll give you the rundown. As usual, this is your standard pub quiz, except we can't be in a pub because of COVID. Don't know if you've seen the news lately, but we're not allowed out. We're not allowed in. So we're going to do it on YouTube. So it's going to be 3 rounds. The first round is going to be 20 questions of relatively easy trivia. Not super easy, but relatively easy. And then I'll give you the answers. The second round is 20 questions of less easy trivia questions, and then I'll give you the answers to those. And then round 3 is our very difficult /silly/trick question round of 10 questions. And if you get any points in that round, then you're doing pretty well. And I will say that in theory, round 2 is more difficult than round 1, but it's not always the way. Norel thinks he should get a point for Bermuda. Yes, Steve can have a point for Bermuda. Why not? If it comes down to him winning by 1 point tonight, that'll be good. Okay, right. Well, there's not much more to say, really. And then at the end, we have a who am I question that you can use as a tiebreaker or just for a bit of fun. Anyway, let's not spend any more time talking. Let's get on to the questions. So round 1, question 1, I'm assuming you can all hear me okay because no one's complaining. Who commanded the first fleet that arrived in Australia on the 26th of January, 1788? So round 1, question 1. Who commanded the first fleet that arrived in Australia on the 26th of January, 1788? And why not? Let's have a bonus point for the first question of the night. Why not? For a bonus point, tell me the name of the flagship of the first fleet. Hello, Carmen. Okay, so we managed to get one question out so far. So question 2. Which planet is closest to the sun? So round 1, question 1 was, who commanded the first fleet that arrived in Australia on the 26th of January, 1788? And for a bonus point, tell me the name of the flagship of the first fleet. And question 2 was, which planet is closest to the sun? Question 3, what is the largest living species of fish on Earth? Question 3, standard trivia question. What is the largest living species of fish on Earth? When I say living species, I just mean like a current species, not some ancient monster dinosaur thing. What is the largest living species of fish on Earth? Question 4, Spider-Man, Deadpool, and Iron Man are all characters from which brand of comics? Question 4, Spider-Man, Deadpool, and Iron Man are all characters from which brand of comics? So I should explain, I didn't mention it earlier, but this is not the sort of trivia where you need to be the fastest person to type in the comments or anything like that. You're basically playing against yourself or against the quiz or against your friends if you organize it in advance. If you do want to be informed of future events, go to the Facebook page Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz, and you can like that page and you'll be informed of future events. Question 5, ascorbic acid, ASCORBIC, ascorbic acid is more commonly known as which vitamin? Question 5, ascorbic or ascorbic, I guess it could be. Ascorbic acid is more commonly known as which vitamin? Hello, Meg and Paul and Carmen and John and Stephen, Narelle and Joel and Nicole. And everybody else who's joined, in case I missed anybody. Question 6. In the human body, what is the more common name for the mandible? M-A-N-D-I-B-L-E, mandible. Question 6. In the human body, what is the more common name for the mandible? As you probably noticed, I read out all questions twice, in case you miss it the first time. And at the end, I often allow a bit of extra time for, whoa, nearly kicked my microphone over, and for people to ask questions to be repeated if needed. Question 7, which sculptor created the bronze monument, The Thinker, in 1904? Question 7, which sculptor created the bronze monument, The Thinker, in 1904? Pierre says, sorry, my phone died. I need the first 5 questions again, please. Okay, we'll do them very quickly. Round 1, question 1 was, who commanded the first fleet that arrived in Australia on the 26th of January, 1788? And for a bonus point, tell me the name of the flagship of the first fleet. Question 2 was, which planet is closest to the sun? Question 3 was, what is the largest living species of fish on Earth? Question 4 was, Spider-Man, Deadpool, and Iron Man are all characters from which brand of comics? And question 5, ascorbic acid is more commonly known as which vitamin? And while we're here, question 6, in the human body, what's the more common name for the mandible? And question 7, which sculptor created the bronze monument, The Thinker, in 1904? And now you're up to date. Okay, question 8. Who was the winner of the first season of Australian Idol? Question 8. Who was the winner of the first season of Australian Idol? Bonus point for sculptor's first name. Well, no, I would say. Because you've got to spell it correctly, which I can't really check. I'll think about that one. Because if you just have the surname, then that will do for the point. But do you get an extra point for the first name? What about the second place winner, says Pierrot? I can't remember the second. I know the person who came second in the second series, but I can't remember who came second in the first series. So question 8 is, who was the winner of the first season of Australian Idol? Question 9, what is the only chemical element with a 3-letter name? So not symbol, but the actual name of the element. Question 9, what is the only chemical element with a 3-letter name? I knew about that question, but I haven't asked it here before, so that's good. Question 10, by what stage name do we know Curtis James Jackson III? Question 10, by what stage name do we know Curtis James Jackson III? Question 11, which NRL team was evicted from the competition in 1999 but readmitted in 2002? So question 11, which NRL team was evicted from the competition in 1999 but readmitted in 2002? It was quite a big news story at the time, even for someone who doesn't follow sport. I think my sense of taste has gone out the window since I ate the mega chicken ball thing. The beer tastes very strange, and my coffee at work today tasted strange, which was before I had the chicken. So who knows what's going on? Question 12. Which 4 herbs are repeatedly mentioned in the chorus of the song Scarborough Fair? I guess you can have a quarter of a point each. Question 12. Which 4 herbs are repeatedly mentioned in the chorus of the song Scarborough Fair? I think if you get one, you'll get them all. League isn't sport, says Pierre. Well, it all looks like sport from here. Question 13. Which major battle took place between the 1st of July and the 18th of November, 1916? Excuse me. Question 13. Which major battle took place between the 1st of July and the 18th of November, 1916? Question 14. What is the capital city of Argentina? Question 14. What is the capital city of Argentina? I'm mentally tallying up how many geography questions there are this week. Not that many in the first round. Question 15. Who is the famous fictional pet of John Arbuckle? He has a few pets, but there's one that's particularly famous. Question 15. Who is the famous fictional pet of John Arbuckle? Okay, we're having a sport argument in the comments. You know what I always say? I only watch motorsports because all the other sports only need one ball. Okay, question 16. Atticus Finch is a major character in which classic novel? Question 16. Atticus Finch is a major character in which classic novel? Speaking of motorsports, it's good to see F1's back on, MotoGP's back on, and now World Superbike is back on. So it's all happening. Question 17. How long to the nearest minute does it take light to travel from the sun to the Earth? Question 17. How long to the nearest minute does it take light to travel from the sun to the Earth? Simone says, that novel was my specialty subject when I was on Mastermind last year. You were on Mastermind? That explains why you do pretty well in this quiz, I have to say. Were you really on the actual proper on-TV Mastermind, Simone? Is there an episode number we can look up and see? Question 18. Which species of pine tree was thought extinct until rediscovered in a New South Wales national park in 1994? Question 18. Which that's easy for you to say, which species of pine tree was thought extinct until rediscovered in a New South Wales national park in 1994. There's a particular term for things that have thought to have been extinct but haven't been. Answers on a postcard. What's the term? Lazarus creatures? Is that what they're called? Lazarus taxon. Anyway, that sounds like a prog rock band, Lazarus taxon. What are we up to? Question 19. What is the more common name for the medical condition lateral epicondylitis? Question 19. What is the more common name for the medical condition lateral epicondylitis? Lateral spelled as you'd expect. And epicondylitis. Lateral epicondylitis. What's the more common name for that medical condition? Simone was on Proper TV Mastermind. I was aired on May the 22nd, 2019. Caroline says Hamilton is from a small village near where I'm from, so grew up reading about him about age 5 in local papers. Oh, Lewis Hamilton, not the Hamilton we were talking about previously, which is the capital of Bermuda. That was confusing, but that's good. Yes, he's doing very well. Question 20. Which one of these is not a Jack Ryan movie? So it's a multiple choice. Question 20. Which one of these is not a Jack Ryan movie? That's A, Patriot Games, B, Air Force One, or C, The Sum of All Fears. So question 20. Which one of these is not a Jack Ryan movie? Is it A, Patriot Games, B, Air Force One, or C, The Sum of All Fears? So by Jack Ryan, I mean they're all Harrison Ford movies. Harrison Ford often plays a character called Jack Ryan from books by a particular author whose name escapes me. Anyway, which one of those movies is not Harrison Ford playing Jack Ryan? Who's Jack Ryan, says Pierrot? I just explained that. He's a fictional character from a whole set of books by, I'll have to look it up now because it's going to annoy me. Anyway, it's question 20, so you can think about your answers now. Ryan is Tom Clancy, of course. Yes. So Jack Ryan is a character in Tom Clancy novels, been made into several movies and TV series. But which one of those is not a Jack Ryan movie? Yes, Tom Clancy. So Simone, that's interesting that you were in Mastermind. I guess I'll have to watch that episode and see how you went. But yes, that certainly explains why you habitually do pretty well on this little suburban crappy quiz. I'd like to have a go at some of those TV shows, maybe, but yeah, maybe not. Anyway, that's the end of round one. I'll give you another 30 seconds or so to put your answers together while what's going on the Facebook page? Are people asking me for the link? No, people are just liking the page and stuff. That's good. Remember, go to Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz if you want to be told about future events. It might be available on a streaming service, says Simone. I'm sure I'll be able to find it. I'm quite skilled at the intertubes. Okay, so let's go through the answers to round one. We'll see how you went. To round one, question one, I should say. Stop touching your face, it's COVID. Question one, who commanded the first fleet that arrived in Australia on the 26th of January, 1788? That was, of course, Captain Arthur Phillip. And the bonus question was, what was the name of the flagship of the first fleet? And if we look it up, I'm pretty sure it was the HMS Sirius. Why is that not working? First Fleet Australia flagship. This is what happens when I decide spontaneously to do. Yes, HMS Sirius was the flagship of the First Fleet, which set out from Portsmouth, England, etc. So the answer to round one, question one, is Captain Arthur Phillip. And the bonus point is the HMS Sirius, Sirius. Okay, question two. Which planet is closest to the sun? That is Mercury. Question three. What is the largest living species of fish on Earth? That is the whale shark. I know whales aren't fish, but this is a shark that's the size of a whale. So it's a shark. It's got gills, not lungs. It's a fish. Whale shark. Question four. Spider-Man, Deadpool, and Iron Man are all characters from which brand of comics? They are all Marvel. Not too surprising, I suppose, if you've been watching movies lately. Question five was ascorbic acid is more commonly known as which vitamin? That is vitamin C. C for cat. Question six. In the human body, what is the more common name for the mandible? That is the lower jaw or the jawbone. It's basically this big bone here. Question seven. Which sculptor created the bronze monument The Thinker in 1904? It is, of course, Rodin, R-O-D-I-N. And if you got the first name, I guess you can give yourself a bonus point, but it's Auguste, A-U-G-U-S-T-E. How did you know I was touching my face, says Pierrot. Okay, good. What are we up to? Question 8. Who was the winner of the first season of Australian Idol? That was Guy Sebastian. And I'm told in the comments that Shannon Knoll was the second place that year. Okay. But the answer is Guy Sebastian. Question 9. What is the only chemical element with a 3-letter name? That is tin, T-I-N. Chemical symbol SN for stannum. But anyway, the answer is tin. Question 9. By what stage name do we know Curtis James Jackson III? That is 50 Cent. He's some kind of a rapping man, I believe, as the young people say. Question 10. Which NRL team was evicted from the competition in 1999 but readmitted in 2002? That is the South Sydney Rabbitohs, or the Souths, or the Rabbitohs, or something like that. Second place winner. That's an oxymoron. Yeah, I don't know. If you win the silver medal, you still have won something, haven't you? Question 12. Which 4 herbs are repeatedly mentioned in the chorus of the song Scarborough Fair? Those are parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Question 13. Which major battle took place between the 1st of July and the 18th of November 1916? That was the Battle of the Somme. S-O-M-M-E, the Battle of the Somme, which I believe was in France. It was one of the most horrible industrialized murder fields of the First World War. Pretty grim. Remember, this is not a fact, this is something I heard. I think just the Allies on the first day of the Somme had 60,000 casualties. That's one side in one day of one battle. Pretty terrible. Anyway, question 14. What is the capital city of Argentina? That is Buenos Aires. B-U-E-N-O-S-A-I-R-E-S, which I guess means good air. Buenos means good. Aires. What does Buenos Aires mean? Aires mean? It means good airs or fair winds. There you go. So the answer is Buenos Aires. Question 15. Who is the famous fictional pet of John Arbuckle? That is Garfield. Answer to question 15 is Garfield. Of course, John also had Nermal and Odie, but I think the most famous one would have to be Garfield. His name's on all the books and the movies. Question 16. Atticus Finch is a major character in which classic novel? As Simone knows, it is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Just the title will do, To Kill a Mockingbird. Possibly also in the sequel, To Kill Go Set a Watchman, which I haven't read yet. I do own a copy of it, though. Not that that's anything to brag about. But anyway, question 17. How long to the nearest minute does it take light to travel from the sun to the Earth? It takes 8 minutes and about 20 seconds. So question 17, the answer is 8 minutes. Okay, question 18 was, which species of pine tree was thought extinct until rediscovered in a New South Wales National Park in 1994? That is the Wollemi pine, Wollemi, Wollemi pine. Question 19, what is the more common name for the medical condition lateral epicondylitis? That is tennis elbow. Lateral epicondylitis is tennis elbow. And question 20, which one of these is not a Jack Ryan movie? The answer is B, Air Force One. Harrison Ford is playing President James Marshall in that film, not Jack Ryan. And from memory, it's a pretty terrible film. Get off my plane. Punch. Yeah, pretty bad. Anyway, that's the end of round one. Let me know how you went. Tequila Mockingbird sounds delicious. Let me do some Facebook housekeeping. Hello, Emma, if you've tuned in. I see people liking the quiz, liking the page. That's what we like to see. Davey got 14, Pierre got 6, and Simone, who we now realize is something of a trivia hustler, got 20. Peter got 19. Pierre got 11. Matt got 15. Caroline got 9. Hey, that's not too bad. Kim got 14. Not too bad. Will the second round be harder or easier than the first round? It's always hard to tell. I think it's going to be more difficult, especially towards the end. Yeah, we need to have a handicap system. We need to have some sort of handicap for Simone where she starts with like minus 15 points, like in golf or other sports like that. All right, let's get started with round 2. Our slightly less easy round, traditionally, in theory. Pierre wants to start with plus 15. Okay, round 2, question 1. Which alcoholic drink takes its name from the Japanese word for green, as in the color green? Round 2, question 1. Which alcoholic drink takes its name from the Japanese word for green? Daff got 17.5. Hello, Daff. I don't think we've met before. Carmen got 8.5. John got 12.5. Pretty good. All right. Question 2 of round 2. In geopolitical terms, what does NATO stand for? NATO. What does NATO stand for? Question 2. Noel got 17. Stephen got 16 plus his bonus point. So he got 17 as well. They're tied at the end of the first round. It's very exciting. And Peter got 9. That's not too bad. Hello, Peter. I don't think we've met either, but it's good to see new people. All right, what are we up to? Round 2, question 3. Which actress appeared in the films Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, The Truth About Cats and Dogs, and My Super Ex-Girlfriend? Round 2, question 3. Which actress appeared in the films Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, The Truth About Cats and Dogs, and My Super Ex-Girlfriend? Hello, Lilia, if you're playing along, who just liked the quiz. I'll let you think about that one for a minute. Question 4. Which cosmetics company had for many years the slogan, "Because you're worth it"? Question 4. Which cosmetics company had for many years the slogan, "Because you're worth it"? And you sure are. In this age of COVID, we need any positivity we can get. Question 5, going from positivity to not very positive. Question 5, according to the Bible, whose wife was turned into a pillar of salt? Question 5, according to the Bible, whose wife was turned into a pillar of salt? And I know that's not very 2020 to simply refer to someone as only being known as someone's wife, but she is not actually mentioned by name in the Bible, so it's not my fault. Take it up with the author. Question 5, according to the Bible, whose wife was turned into a pillar of salt? Pierre says, I accidentally split the keyboard on my iPad. Anyone know how to fix it? I do not know how to do that. Hopefully somebody does. I think Elated Matt might be the person to ask. He's the resident Apple guru, I think. Question 6. In the NATO phonetic alphabet, which word is used for the letter Q? Q for... Nearly said it, didn't I? No, question 6. In the NATO phonetic alphabet, what word is used for the letter Q? Pierre says, tap keyboard settings, then select split keyboard, or go to settings, general keyboard, then turn split keyboard on or off. There you go. Tech support in the comments. Question 7, which modern country, a geography question. Question 7, which modern country was historically known as Abyssinia? So what's the modern current name of the country that used to be called Abyssinia, which presumably where Abyssinian cats are from? Question 7, which modern country was historically known as Abyssinia? Abyssinia. Excuse me, beer and mega chicken ball bites burps. For those of you who tuned in late, I had about a 10-minute review of some Domino's mega chicken bite thing that I ate earlier. Short answer, 1 star, don't bother. Question 8. What is the name of the 3rd child of Prince William and Catherine, Duke and Duchess of Cambridge? Question 8. What is the name of the 3rd child of Prince William and Catherine, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge? Just the first name will do. I have got 2 middle names written down here, but it's fine if you just have the first name. Tap and hold the keyboard icon on the keyboard. That's probably how you accidentally said it last time, I would say. If you tapped that and held that button a bit too long. Question 9. The London bombings on the 7th of July, often called the 7/7 bombings, occurred in which year? A friend of mine was in London when this happened. Question 9. The London bombings on the 7th of July, often called the 7/7 bombings, occurred in which year? I'm pretty sure that was the ones that were on a bus and maybe in a train station. Series of coordinated Islamic terrorist suicide attacks in London that targeted commuters traveling on the city's public transport system during the morning rush hour. Yes, the 7/7 bombings. What year did they happen in? Later, Matt says, I was in London when it happened too. And yes, Pierre does think that's what he did. Held down that button a bit too long. Question 10. Complete this Jimi Hendrix lyric. Excuse me while I kiss what? Question 10. Complete this Jimi Hendrix lyric. Excuse me while I kiss what? And for a bonus point, name the song. So question 10 is complete this Jimi Hendrix lyric. Excuse me while I kiss what? And for a bonus point, name the song. I have a bad feeling. Hey, what do you know? Question 11 is exactly the same as question 6. That's not good. How did that happen? I need to find another question. That's okay. I'll sort that out in a sec. I'll do it so smoothly you won't even notice that I'm doing it. Okay, what are we up to? Question 11. Stephen Hawking suffered from which paralyzing disease? Stephen Hawking suffered from which paralyzing disease? It has several names. I'll accept any of the, I'm going to say 3 common names for it. Yes, I have 3 common names written down. If you have one of those, that'll do. Why is that not opening? This is me smoothly inserting another question. Did you even notice? Okay, what was it? Question 11 was Stephen Hawking suffered from which paralyzing disease? Question 12 is which animated TV show revolves around Chunky, Tommy, Bill, and Lil? Question 12, which animated TV show revolves around Chunky, Tommy, Bill, and Lil? Let's find a question that is good. Question 13. The 2018 Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras celebrated which anniversary of the parade? Question 13. The 2018 Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras celebrated which anniversary of the parade? Pierre says, what was question 3? Question 3 was, which actress appears in the films Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, The Truth About Cats and Dogs, and My Super Ex-Girlfriend? That was question 3. Don't get confused. That's a good little question. I'm going to grab that one. Oops, you're not meant to know that I'm doing that. I'm being smooth. There you go, smoothly inserted a new question. Oh, the formatting's gone wrong. Words being horrible. Okay, what are we up to? Question 14. EPA and DHA are 2 fatty acids found in which common dietary supplement? EPA and DHA are 2 fatty acids found in which common dietary supplement? That can go away now. I need to mark that question as being used. Where's the thing gone here? There, done. Save, go away. Okay. Question 15. In greyhound racing, the dog starting in trap number 1 wears which color jacket? Question 15. In greyhound racing, the dog starting in trap number 1 wears which color jacket? Apparently, they are standardized. There is like I wouldn't say legislation, but certainly the sporting regulations cover the colors of each dog in each position and the numbers and the colors of their little jackets and everything. I guess it helps the commentators, helps people know where they are in the race, etc. So question 15 is, what color jacket does the dog starting in trap number 1 wear? Okay, question 16. Which famous battle took place at about 3 p.m. on Wednesday, October the 26th, 1881, in Tombstone, Arizona? Yeah, it's getting towards the end of round 2. We can be a little bit obscure, a little bit specific. So question 16, which famous battle took place at about 3 p.m. on Wednesday, October the 26th, 1881, in Tombstone, Arizona? People are just writing the word chunky and Chucky into chat. Okay, good. I guess that's to do with that. Oh, yes, that was to do with question 12. Good. Question 17. Which chemical element takes its name from the Greek word for color? Question 17. Which chemical element takes its name from the Greek word for color? Pierre says, why not ask, which district did the first Emu War start in? I have read about the Emu War. It's a real thing. And as far as I recall, the emus pretty much won. Question 17 was, which chemical element takes its name of the Greek word for color? All right, we're getting towards the end of round 2. That's sort of me apologizing in advance for the next question, which is not as difficult as it sounds. Question 18. Which branch of mathematics was developed and published simultaneously but separately by Isaac Newton and Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz? Question 18. Yes, I can hear you smacking your foreheads onto the table. Question 18. Which branch of mathematics was developed and published simultaneously but separately by Isaac Newton and Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz? Don't know how that works. Did they call it the same thing? I guess it's not the name that matters. It's the mathematical branchness of it. I'll let you think about that one for a minute while I do some Facebook housekeeping. I've definitely done something to my taste buds. That beer tastes very weird, and my coffee tasted weird today as well. I should probably get that looked at. Anyway, question. It just occurred to me that strange taste is a COVID symptom, isn't it? Anyway, I get my temperature checked every day. I'm probably okay, I hope. What are we up to? Question 19. The market for which common item is dominated by the Yoshida Kogyo Kabushigishaisha Corporation? I'm not going to bother spelling that, but I will simply say that its initials are YKK. Question 19. The market for which common item is dominated by the Yoshida Kogyo Kabushikigaisha Corporation, whose initials are YKK. And question 20. I do try to make my trivia not particularly US-centric because it's very easy to make it very US-centric. So I think there hasn't been too much US stuff in this one. But question 20 is, New England is a region of the northeast of the United States. For half a point each, name the 6 states that make up New England. So question 20, New England is a region of northeastern United States. For half a point each, name the 6 states that make up New England. Pierrot says, make it Japan-centric, please. Oh, so were you asking what I said in that question? I'll just repeat question 12 in case people were confused. Which animated TV show revolves around Chunky, Tommy, Bill, and Lil? I may have said Chucky before because I haven't watched this TV show, I'll tell you that now. And I'm probably thinking of Chucky, the psychotic doll in the movies of the same name. But the question 12 is, which animated TV show revolves around Chunky, Tommy, Bill, and Lil? Okay, sorry if I said Chucky before. Yes, I understand now. In the comments, you're saying it's Chucky, not Chunky. So it's not Chunky. It is Chucky. Oh my God. It's all falling apart. Well, I'd say if you know enough to correct me on this, then you've probably already got the answer, but let me have a quick look. Who are the characters? The characters in this show are far out. It's Chucky. Okay, it is Chucky. The name of the character is Chucky. I don't know why I've got Chunky down there. So question 12, if you're still playing along at home, is which animated TV show revolves around the characters Chucky, Tommy, Bill, and Lil? Okay. Chucky, Tommy, Bill, and Lil. Are we all happy with that? Question 12. Angry Windows noises. Yeah, I normally turn my speakers off so I can't hear that sound, but anyway. Wow, this is almost like the national languages of Belgium fiasco of several months ago. Chucky, yes, Pierre, I get it. It's Chucky. Okay, it is Chucky, the same as the Psycho movie dude. Hi, I'm Chucky. Want to play? That guy, but it's not that guy. It's a different show. Good. I'm glad we sorted that out. One of the characters was voiced by Marcy from Californication. All right. Good. Settle down, mastermind. Sorry, I shouldn't tease you for that. That's good that you run a show like that. I'd quite like to go on The Chase, I think. I think The Chase is my favorite of the quiz shows because it has the highest density of questions to my mind. Millionaire is so annoying because they ask you one question and then like 15 minutes later, they're still asking you the same question, which is no good for me, basically, because I pretty much watch those shows for the purposes of harvesting facts and questions out of them. Anyway, good. So that was the end of round 2 some time ago. I assume you've got all your answers sorted out. Let's go through the answers to round 2. Just do what the first winner did. Okay, I don't know. Round 2, question 1. Which alcoholic drink takes its name from the Japanese word for green? That is Midori. Famous green Japanese alcoholic drink, Midori. As I recall, it's quite delicious. I remember I had a bucket of some kind of Midori cocktail at one point with friends. Very messy, but very tasty. Question 2. In geopolitical terms, what does NATO stand for? I guess you can have a quarter of a point if you get each of these words right and not others, but it is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO, NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Oh, that's right. He breezed through Millionaire, and then he rang up his dad to say, I didn't need to do a phone a friend. I just wanted to let you know that I'm about to win Millionaire, because he already knew the answer to the $1 million question. I remember that. What a guy. What a legend. Question 3. Which actress appeared in those 3 films? That is Uma Thurman. Simone says she did Sale of the Century years ago and did Millionaire too. Have you done The Chase or The Chaser or whatever they're calling it nowadays? Simone's a trivia hustler. We're only just realizing. No wonder she thrashes us all every week. Question 4. Which cosmetics company had for many years the slogan, because you're worth it? That was L'Oreal. I don't know how you pronounce that. It's got an apostrophe in the middle of it. It's L'Oreal, L'Oreal. L'Oreal. Something French. I have applied for the Chase, says Simone. I haven't heard back. Fair enough. Let us know how you go. Question 5. According to the Bible, whose wife was turned into a pillar of salt? That is Lot. L-O-T. Lot's wife was turned into a pillar of salt for looking back at Sodom, as in the place, despite an angel having told her, look not behind you. And it becomes a metaphor for not returning to sin after having left it. She's not named in the Bible, but she is called Ado or Edith in some Jewish traditions. But the answer to question 5 is Lot, Lot's wife. Question 6. In the NATO phonetic alphabet, what word is used for the letter Q? That is Quebec, which if you've ever spoken to a French Canadian, they don't say Quebec, they say Quebec or Quebecois. It's Quebec. Quebec, Quebec, as in, I think it's a province of Canada. Question 7, Montreal is the capital. 7 of that province, not all of Canada. Stop giving supplemental facts. Question 7, which modern country was historically known as Abyssinia? That is Ethiopia. James is the host, Simone is the chaser, and everyone else is versus Simone. I like that. We could do a chaser version of this. That would be good. Okay. She doesn't know the answer to the YKK question. See, she only knows obscure, clever facts, not boring pedestrian facts. Okay, what are we up to? Far out. Question 7, modern country Abyssinia is Ethiopia. Question 8, what's the name of the 3rd child of Prince William and Catherine? That is Louis, L-O-U-I-S. It's actually Louis Arthur Charles. And I think their surname is usually given as Windsor rather than Mountbatten, etc. Yeah, I think it's, anyway, Louis is the answer to question 8. L-O-U-I-E, Louis, however you want to pronounce it. Question 9, the London bombings, the 7/7 bombings occurred in which year? That was 2005. Question 10, complete this Jimi Hendrix lyric. It is, excuse me while I kiss the sky. not the often misheard lyric, excuse me while I kiss this guy. The correct answer is, excuse me while I kiss the sky. Excuse me. And for a bonus point, the song is Purple Haze. So question 10, the answer is the sky, and the bonus point is Purple Haze. Question 11. Stephen Hawking suffered from which paralyzing disease? Well, it's known as motor neuron disease, or ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. If you've got one of those three, that's fine. It's not Parkinson's, anything like that. Nope. Question 12. Which animated TV show revolves around Chucky, Tommy, Bill, and Lil? That is Rugrats. It's Waiki Guru. I don't know what you're on about. Surname is Cambridge. They use Cambridge as a surname. Okay, fine. I know when you used to see Harry and William, when they had their military uniforms on, it used to say, I'm sure it used to say Windsor as their surname. Anyway, what are we up to? Question 10 was that. Question 11 was that. Question 12 was that. 13, the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras 2018, the anniversary. It was the 40th anniversary. For question 13, the answer is 40th. Question 14, EPA and DHA are two fatty acids found in which common dietary supplement? The answer I really was looking for is fish oil or krill oil or something like that, but it occurs to me that you may have just put omega-3, so that's fine. As long as you said omega-3 or fish oil or, something like that. It's good for your brain. Take some. Don't take too much. It thins your blood. 15, in greyhound racing, the dog starting in trap number 1 wears which color jacket? It wears a red jacket. Oh, that's right. It says Wales. It says Wales, not Windsor. You're absolutely right. Okay, question 15 was the dog wears the red jacket. Question 16, which famous battle took place at that time in Tombstone, Arizona? That was the gunfight at the OK Corral. So the answer to question 16 is the gunfight at the OK Corral. It was a real thing. It really happened. Question 17, which chemical element takes its name from the Greek word for color? That is chromium. 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 Question 18, which branch of mathematics was developed and published simultaneously but separately by Newton and Leibniz? That is calculus. Name a branch of mathematics. The answer is calculus. Question 19, did you get this one? This was the secret extra bonus question that I snuck in and nobody noticed. It was the market for which common item is dominated by the YKK Corporation. That is zippers, as in clothing zippers. In fact, if you look at your zippers, they've probably got YKK written on them. Lots of them do. This one doesn't because it's a particular branded thing. But you've probably seen YKK on lots of zippers because they dominate the market and did for a long time. No, it's not a showdown it's not a dance-off. It's a gunfight at the OK Corral. And question 20, oh, you can have half. If you've got OK Corral, you can have half a point. Question 20, New England is a region of the northeastern United States. Pierrot is so confident. I haven't even read out the answer to question 20, and he's already totted up his answers to round 2. Okay, so the answer to question 20 is Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. So again, New England, question 20, for half a point each. If you have Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut, you get 3 points, otherwise half a point each. Fair enough. Can't get points if I don't answer the question, he says. That's fair enough. Really? You couldn't think of any in New England? I would have thought of Maine, famous for its New England lobsters, and I'm pretty sure it's where Stephen King comes from. Anyway, how did you go in round 2? Let me know. Let me close all my silly tabs I've got open full of Rugrats facts and omega-3 and stuff. How did you go? 16 says Matt. 8.5 says Caroline. 8.5 says Davey with a smiley, with a frowny face. 19 from Simone. The state I thought of was New England. That's in the question. It's not a state. It's a region. Stephen King is from Maine, and he refers to himself as a New Englander. There you go. Kim got 11.5. Def had a shocker, only got 10. That's not too bad. If you're playing on your own round 2, that's not too bad. Peter got all 6 states. Overall, 14 points, better than the first round. That does happen. I try and sort of balance it out, but it's tricky to make one round consistently easier than the other. 6-2 from Pierre, and had none of the first 9. Oh yeah, tied with Pierre, says Pierre. All right, so we proceed on. Peter got 12. That's a little low for you in round 2, Peter, I have to say. Okay, so round 3, if you haven't played before, round 3 is it's silly / trick / difficult. It's basically the place where I put all the questions that I don't really want to ask in the normal quiz. I chuck them all in round 3 and we hope for the best. So if you get any of these, you're doing pretty well, although the first one is a true or false, so you got a 50-50 on that. Simone's having a handicap system applied to her and she's not happy about it. All right, round 3, here we go. Question 1, true or false? The daddy long-legged spider is more venomous than the redback spider. Question 1, true or false? The daddy longlegs is more venomous than the redback spider. Peter says, I'm embarrassed by that score. Well, that's all right, Peter. Sometimes the questions don't fall into your wheelhouse, as they say. And it's from the general scoring, it sounds like round 2 is a bit tricky, especially towards the end. But anyway, so round 3, question 1 was true or false? The daddy long-legged spider is more venomous than the redback spider. Question 2, when angered, which part of a Tasmanian devil turns red? Question 2, when angered, which part of a Tasmanian devil turns red? And I mean the actual living, real Tasmanian devil animal, not the spinny, cartoony one. Norel 16, Stephen 14. You can still do it, Stephen. You're only 2 points behind. You can pull it out in round 3. All right, question 3 of round 3. Who is married to David Furnish? Question 3. Who is married to David Furnish? Furnish. Remember, it's round 3. They're meant to be a bit obscure. Question 4. Which popular pastime takes its name from the Japanese words for empty orchestra? I'm not sure if that's a round 3 question, but anyway, question 4. Which popular pastime takes its name from the Japanese words for empty orchestra? Peter says, Mrs. Furnish. Guess we'll find out. Most of Stephen King's novels are set in the fictional town of Castle Rock in Maine. Yep, that's true. If you've ever read, I think one of his that isn't set in Maine, it's set in the south somewhere, is Dolores Claiborne. I'm pretty sure that's one of his. It's written in this southern dialect, and when you first start reading it, it's almost impossible to read. But after a few pages, something happens in your brain, and you start to really almost think in that dialect while you're reading, and the rest of the book flows fine. It's really interesting the way that the voice of the author gets into your head. Anyway, question 5. Which wife of Henry VIII was the mother of Queen Elizabeth I? Question 5. Which wife of Henry VIII was the mother of Queen Elizabeth I? I'm so spoiled, says Pierre. So many Japan-related questions. Like one? Have we had more than one? Anyway, oh yes, we had the zipper question earlier. Okay. We're up to question 4. Which legendary giant sea monster, usually depicted as a giant squid or octopus, is said to dwell off the coasts of Norway and Greenland? Question 6. Which legendary giant sea monster, usually depicted as a giant squid or octopus, is said to dwell off the coasts of Norway and Greenland? Dolores Claiborne was great, narrative-wise, says Simone. I just remember the effect that it had on me, that I found it very hard to read, and then suddenly I found it almost in stereo inside my head. It was a very strange sensation. But I guess, he's a pretty good author, quite famously. Question 7. Which actor has appeared in Star Trek, Star Wars, Mission Impossible, and Ice Age films? So which actor has appeared in all 4 of these major franchises? Star Trek, Star Wars, Mission Impossible, and Ice Age. And there's not many people who've been in Star Trek and in Star Wars. There's kind of an invisible line through the middle of Hollywood where never the twain shall meet. But question 7, which actor has appeared in Star Trek, Star Wars, Mission Impossible, and Ice Age films? Question, there's some strange negotiating about clues going on in the comments. If you're wondering about the comments, by the way, if you're listening in, they're in the YouTube commenty thing. I think you need to make a channel before you can post. Anyway, question 8. Thomas Edison invented the phonograph in 1877, which was the first machine that could record and play back audio. His first recording was of himself reciting what? Question 8. This is a proper round 3 question, this one. Question 8. Thomas Edison invented the phonograph in 1877. It was the first machine that could both record and play back audio. His first recording was of himself reciting what? I'll be very impressed if anyone gets that one. Question 9 is another fairly standard trivia question. What was the real name of the sideshow performer who died in 1890 and who is remembered by the cruel stage name, the Elephant Man? Question 9, what is the real name, or what was the real name of the sideshow performer who died in 1890? He's remembered by the cruel stage name, the Elephant Man. There was a movie about him. He was played by John Hurt, I think, off the top of my head. Right. Question 10. This is not really a trivia question, but anyway. Question 10. In 1898, yes, sorry, this is not really a trivia question. It's more of a sort of a fun fact kind of thing. But see, here you go. Question 10. In 1898, 14 years before the Titanic hit an iceberg in the North Atlantic and sank with the loss of almost everyone on board, a man named Morgan Andrew Robertson wrote a short novel called Futility, in which an ocean liner hits an iceberg in the North Atlantic and sinks with the loss of almost everyone on board. What was the name of the ship in that novel, written 14 years before Titanic sank on its maiden voyage? So question 10, in 1898, 14 years before the Titanic hit an iceberg in the North Atlantic and sank with the loss of almost everyone on board, a man called Morgan Andrew Robertson wrote a short novel called Futility, in which an ocean liner hits an iceberg in the North Atlantic and sinks with the loss of almost everyone on board. What was the name of the ship in that novel, written 14 years before Titanic sank on its maiden voyage? That's the kind of fact you can't really write a trivia question about. Not a regular one anyway, but it's round 3, so all bets are off. I'll give you another 30 seconds or so to think about those. And then we'll go through the answers. And then we will have our Who Am I? And that'll be the end. Okay, my beer's starting to taste more normal now. Maybe that's the trick. More beer. When in doubt, drink more beer. All right, let's go through the answers to round 3. So question 1 was true or false? The daddy long-legged spider is more venomous than the redback spider. The answer, of course, is false. It's an urban myth. The daddy longlegs, the urban myth is that the daddy longlegs spider is super venomous, but its fangs are too short or too weak or something. They can't get through your skin. But if they could, it'd totally kill you dead. Not true. It's not venomous at all. And there's never actually been a major study done of its venomous capacity because no one's ever reported being bitten by one. So there's quite an interesting thing on I think it's the University of Melbourne. They have a toxic pharmacology page, which unsurprisingly is really good about spider stuff. They have a thing in there about it. Anyway, the reason why people think the daddy longlegs spider is more venomous than a redback spider is because in the wild, the daddy longlegs spiders kill and eat the redback spiders. So everyone goes, well, the redback's pretty poisonous, so the daddy longlegs must be really poisonous. But it beats the redback by being faster and having longer legs and getting in behind the redback and killing it. Anyway, that was a very long mini lecture answer to question 1. So the answer to that is simply false. All right, question 2. I think you're getting the hang of round 3 now. Question 2. When angered, which part of a Tasmanian devil turns red? The answer is its ears. You can tell when you've annoyed a Tasmanian devil when its ears turn red, apparently, and the fact that it's biting you. Question 3. Who was married to David Furnish? We had someone who suggested Mrs. Furnish. I'm sorry, that would be an incorrect answer because David Furnish is married to Elton John. Question 4. Which popular pastime takes its name from the Japanese words for empty orchestra? The answer is karaoke. And I think the first bit, kara, is the word that actually means empty, but oki is sort of a Japanese appropriation of the word orchestra, karaoke. Anyway, the answer to question 4 is karaoke. Question 5, which wife of Henry VIII was the mother of Queen Elizabeth I? Anne Boleyn. That's about all I've got to say about that. I think there was they used to spread rumors about her having extra fingers or something. I don't know. Anyway, question 6. Which legendary giant sea monster lives off the coast of Norway and Greenland? That is the Kraken. Kraken. The Kraken. Release the Kraken. Pierrot has put some kanji stuff in chat because he knows all about Japan. It's from kara, meaning empty, and okesutora, meaning orchestra. But I think that Japanese word, is an appropriation of the English word. In the same way that we borrow things from other languages, Japan has borrowed the word orchestra and made their own sort of version of it. Okay, question 7. Which actors appeared in Star Trek, Star Wars, Mission Impossible, and Ice Age? Release the Kraken. It is Simon Pegg. He played Scotty in the more recent Star Trek movies. He played Unkar Plutt, or more accurately, he was the voice of Unkar Plutt, the scrap merchant in Star Wars. Again, one of the more recent films. He is Benji Dunn in Mission Impossible and Buck in Ice Age. So the answer is Simon Pegg. Question 8. I'll be very impressed if you got this. Thomas Edison invented the phonograph, etc. His first recording was of himself reciting what? It was Mary Had a Little Lamb. There you go. He recited the nursery rhyme, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Question 9. What was the name of the sideshow performer, the real name, who died in 1890? The Elephant Man. That was Joseph Merrick. Merrick. He's sometimes incorrectly referred to as John Merrick, but his name was actually Joseph Merrick. Hey, you can have half a point if you only got the surname. I knew the Edison one, said Simone. Very good. I think I only learned that fact today when I put it into the quiz. Me too, says Lady Man. Okay, well, there you go. I did not know that. And what are we up to? The very last question, which is not really a question. In 1898, 14 years before the Titanic hit an iceberg in the North Atlantic, a guy wrote a book about an ocean liner hitting an iceberg in the North Atlantic and sinking with the loss of everyone on board. What was the name of the ship in that novel written 14 years before Titanic sank on its maiden voyage? It was Titan. Titan. Not Titanic, but Titan. Spooky or coincidence? Probably coincidence. Let's face it. Anyway, the answer to question 10 is Titan. So there you go. That's the end of round 3. How did you go? Pierrot got 5. Almost became the devil. Half a point for Titanic. No, you don't get half a point for repeating a word that's in the question and that I was obviously leading you towards. You don't get half a point for falling for my trap. David Jones got 4, Kim got 5, Simone got 6.5. When did I do half point? Oh, maybe it was a Merrick. Maybe you got John Merrick instead of Joseph Merrick. Daff got 3. That's pretty good for round 3, really. We have had times when nobody got any points in round 3. Peter says he got number 8 and 3 others. Okay, that's a confusing way to phrase it, but you got 4 points, I guess. Oh, you got number 8, the Thomas Edison one. Yes, that is worth pointing out. That was good. Clever. Oh, yeah, beat Simone again. Narelle and Stephen both got 6, but they got different answers again. Pierre got 3. Matt got 6. Simone got 45.5 overall out of I don't know how many because I never add up the totals because I'm occasionally randomly adding bonus points as I go along. It was Phil and Ill. Man, I made a complete mess of that Rugrats question. I got 50% of the character names wrong. Can you tell I don't watch it? I don't even know where I got that question from. It was in my giant pile of questions. I should probably have checked that one a bit better. Anyway, sounds like most people got it right anyway. You either knew it or you didn't. Narelle got 39. Stephen got 37. So close. Must have more geography. All right, let's go through the final bit of the night is our Who Am I question. If you happen to be in a tiebreaker situation, you can use this as a tiebreak. But if you're not in a tiebreak, you can just have a crack at it anyway. If you are doing a tiebreak, the way it works is I'm going to read out facts about a person as I go along. If you think you know the answer, have a go at it. If you get it right, you win the tiebreak. But if you get it wrong, you lose the tiebreak and the other person wins. So you want to be fast, but you want to be correct. Be confident of your answer. What is the largest island of Japan? I'm pretty sure that's Hokkaido, isn't it? Oh, or is it Honshu? Ooh, that's a good one. I think it's Honshu. Ha! It's Honshu. Good. It's the big one to the northeast. Okay, good. Let's not get into you asking me trivia questions because there's quite a lag between me seeing the comments and saying things. All right, good. Let's go through the Who Am I question. Here we go. Who am I? I was born in Coupvray. Don't know how to pronounce it. Probably not relevant. I was born in Coupvray, France in 1809 and died in Paris at the age of 43. My ear for music enabled me to become an accomplished cellist and organist, and later in life I played the organ in churches across France. I worked as a teacher's aide and in 1833 was elevated to a full professorship, teaching history, geometry, and algebra. However, an incident that profoundly affected my life occurred when I was 3 years old. Playing in my father's leather workshop, I accidentally struck myself across the face with an awl, injuring my eye. This injury and a subsequent infection left me completely blind from the age of 5. My parents continued to raise and educate me, and because of my diligence and intelligence, at the age of 10, I was admitted to one of the first schools for blind children in the world. In this school, we were taught to read via the Huai system, but this did not permit us to write. After exhausting the limited library of books encoded with this system, and inspired by a military communication system invented by Captain Charles Barbier of the French Army, I was determined to invent a system of reading and writing that could bridge the gap between the sighted and the blind. This system I created bears my name to this day and has become the standard reading and writing system for the blind. I am, of course, Louis Braille. Louis Braille hit himself in the face with an awl. I think an awl is like a spiky leather tool. What's an awl? Let's look it up. It looks like something I don't want to hit myself in the face with. Holy cow. It's a spiky. Yeah, that's bad. Don't do that, kids. Anyway, Louis Braille, there you go. Tragic accident, but from that, defined his life and became someone who we remember to this day and has had a huge positive effect on the lives of blind people everywhere. Basically a spike on a stick, says PR. Yeah, it's not the kind of thing you want to hit yourself in the face with or drop on your foot or stand on. Okay, there we go. That's the end of the quiz for tonight. Hope you had fun. Nice to see all the regulars tuning in. Yes, Norel says, ouch. Yes, I agree. It's a very nasty looking tool. I guess you use it to like stitch through leather, punch holes in leather. I'm not sure. A sewing awl, a scratching awl. It's kind of a general tool anyway. So, yes, it's usually about this time that I say, I think COVID's getting better and we're all going to be fine, but yeah, I don't know. Have to see how we go. I think one thing's for certain, we're going to be doing trivia for a while yet, that's for sure. Anyway, hope you all had fun. See you next week. Remember to like the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz, if you want to be told about future events, or subscribe to the YouTube channel, or just tune in at about 7:30 on a Tuesday night, Sydney time. Cool. Very good. Oh, yes. Special hello to the new people tonight. Daff and Peter and anybody else who tuned in for the first time. Hope to see you next week. Good night. Goodbye. Have fun. Stay safe.